Peace. And I'd like to welcome you back into the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. With me, I have two of my distinguished guests, in addition to being my brothers, Tyrone and Mike Boxing. And I'll first go to you, Tyrone, because Mike's going to be on mute for a little while. Tyrone, let us know what you up to and where we can find you. And I'll first go to you, Tyrone, because Mike's going to be on mute for a little while. My bad, bro.
You're cool. You guys can find me on TS Boxing on YouTube. I go live automatically whenever I feel like it. I do need to put some content out, so hopefully I can get that over the line and start doing that like I need to. So
yeah, in due time, my friend. But you're a big time contributor in my favorite channels as far as going live, which my favorite channels are usually my people's channels. So your contributions are much appreciated in that realm. And I don't know if you're ready to come on, Mike, but let me know if you are. Unmute yourself. But if you can, let me know. Let the people know where we can find you. Like, actually, and if you could too, because I didn't get to watch your last video that you talked about in the group. But if you wanted to give a brief description of your last video and where we can find you.
Oh yeah, you can find me on YouTube. And if you're on the streets, you can find me usually on the corner where the $5 prostitutes be at. You know, they cheap. You know,
the $5 male prostitutes
and all that shit. So yeah, you can find me up over there.
The chicks with dicks.
No, I don't know about that. I ain't Mr. T.
Oh, you saw that shit, right?
I been saw that shit.
I don't know, but yeah, another thing too is that dude rolled with Biggie, bro. Biggie was rolling with some funny people when it was funny to roll with funny people. If you get my drift.
Yeah, the resident expert.
Yeah, and one of Biggie's people, it was a dude named Man. Like he was straight up, like, you know, not denying it type shit, like out there. If you get my drift, I don't want to get banned. But yeah, funny stuff going on in the hip hop world. I've been saying that. There's always been that undertone of boxing men in the hip hop world, and I think that was done with a purpose.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about boxing wise?
Yeah, definitely, man. I actually wanted to cover like more of the Errol Spence Bud book like stuff, but in addition to that, I wanted to talk about like the Dillian White versus Povetkin, and maybe down the line the Dillian White Wilder fight they're talking about, or the AJ versus Fury. These fights that are rumored to be that probably won't happen till the end of the summer or 2021. But let me start off like what we were talking about last, Ty. Like as far as the Errol Spence thing, because I made a video on the subject earlier too. But I made a video earlier regarding my displeasure with Errol Spence, and it may seem like I'm trolling Errol Spence, like from from people who may be more like defending him, and I'm not like it's not me trolling Errol Spence necessarily or trying to single him out, but that's more me of defending boxing, if you will. But I think he's at the vanguard of a lot of the bullshit that we see in boxing, like these dudes that think they're that guy, but really aren't that guy, but are holding up fantastic fights from happening. But yeah, I made a video like pretty much just regurgitating bile for Errol Spence, and it was more because of like this seemingly fast tracking or streamlining a fight against Ordenis Ugas. And I know you were really excited about the Ordenis Ugas fight, Tyrone, from what you were telling me, and that you were trying to pay that $94 for the HD version of that fight. But let me know what you like if you have any thoughts.
I think the Ugas fight is a horrible fight. I don't think Ugas deserves a belt. I don't think he deserved to get one if he paid for one. I think he's a horrible fighter at an elite level. I think he's going to get smoked by this guy. He's only known for going the distance versus Porter. He's been beat 3 times before that, and he has a receding hairline under 35. So, Ugas, you said if you got in there with Spence would dog stomp you in 4 or 5 rounds. You wouldn't even last. And then you get on Instagram. I don't even know how I found my Instagram. He's lucky he got my recommended page, which I'm about to knock his bum ass off that too. But no, that's not a good fight. I think that's a fight Spence should take in training camp. That should be something like literally putting on a new set of clothes. That's a really easy fight for him. I don't think it's pay-per-view, to be honest. If they made it pay-per-view, they're only making it because of Spence. Ugas doesn't speak English. And I don't know, for somebody with 4 losses and fighting really nobody of note except for Porter, he's gotten a real free ride.
Word up. And honestly, like with my expectations being like at the sub level right now, like if they were saying that like they're gonna fight Ugas next in fucking May or some shit, and immediately afterwards, like fight Terrence Bud Crawford, no matter what, next. Like no bullshit, like that's just gonna happen. I probably wouldn't be tripping as hard, but that's not what's gonna happen. Like something else is gonna come up where Errol Spence, I think, is gonna pivot, like to fight maybe Thurman, um Pacquiao if he decides to, um Canelo, like, and move up to like 168 or some shit to fight him. Anything but Bud, I think, like, and that's what's pissing me off. Like, at first, a lot of people like that are contacting me through Messenger for some like to defend the boxer. Like, shame on you. But it's not like I was always against Errol Spence. I mean, this has been a thing more since maybe like 2020 that I've been against like his moves. And do I want to see him get hurt? I mean, I may say that, but like in a video, like to be sensational. But no, I don't want to see him get hurt. But I think that he's holding up like a really, really good fight from happening and potential really great fights from happening with the victor of him versus Bud Crawford. Like, so I mean, like my ire is more because of that. Like, I mean, I truly, I don't.
But
now go ahead, brother.
I also think, like, at the same time, and I was telling you this on the phone, Crawford re-upped, and he knew he's working with a promoter who doesn't like him. But I honestly have more respect for Mikey Garcia to do what he did, because Terrence Crawford talks a lot about being tough, but Mikey Garcia actually did it, right? He said, you know what, I'd rather not fight than to continue working with Top Rank. He didn't need the money. Maybe Crawford needs the money. But
possibly. I mean, you got to remember too, like, Crawford's kids are a goddamn starting basketball team and then some too. But in addition to that, like Crawford, my bad, bro, but Mikey's team are pretty much family. Like his dad, his trainer, his brother. So a lot of those dudes, like, they ain't gonna let it, like, they ain't going out like that, like when it comes to their little brother. Whereas Bud, he's got like Bomac. Bomac may have been looking to get a paycheck when these negotiations, like regarding Bud Crawford reeing up with Top Rank were happening. And Top Rank may have had Bud Crawford by the balls. But personally, I agree with you. I think he probably should have sat out. But a lot of people ain't built like that, man. Like, as far as like,
right, he does
losing a paycheck.
But I mean, Mikey Garcia is the one who actually backed it up. He's not the only one. There's some other fighters in the past who actually really devastated them, but they at least stood up for what they believed in. I mean, I can't sit there and just kind of shake my head, and my promoter is telling me in my face, I can't say, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm trash, I'm this, I'm that. And then I'm still like, oh, I still want to work with him, I still want to do that. No. He either has something over you, you're weak, or or there's something else going on, because I don't know. He should not have. I don't think he should have He should be People should be working with these guys on a case by case basis, not signing
Absolutely.
long-term contracts. I mean, we give Canelo a lot of stuff, but Canelo is his own boss, really. So if he ducks fights, it's because he doesn't want to fight, not because he was told not to duck a fight, at least. You know, he's working with Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn, nobody can keep him on a contract right here. Nobody. Everybody else is on one. Most people are.
Yeah, word up. I mean, like, it's I just like, I'm not like co-signing every move that Bud makes, like fucking that ain't the case. Like, I mean, like, just because like my distaste lies a little bit more for Errol doesn't mean that I'm co-signing like all of what Bud does. I think they're both lame, like as far as like the moves they've made, like, and as far as like avoiding each other, because Bud Crawford's call out game of Errol Spence post fight is trash too. I mean, it never happens. Like, but and same could be said for Errol Spence. Like, neither one of them, I think, has called each other out post fight of any fight. But to me, it's like when you got a lot of like rabid fan bases like saying like one should be merits more than the other, or fucking one's not deserving of this or that. I mean, I was thinking about it earlier, and I said this in a comment on my last video that I made, that I don't think neither Errol Spence or fucking Bud Crawford had as many big events as fucking Margarito, like in the early 2000s era, which is like a couple years ago. Margarito had big time events, like fights that they would talk about in barbershops. Errol Spence ain't never had no fight that a motherfucker was talking about in a barbershop, and neither has Bud Crawford. But
Those only the shit. What were they talking about? Only fights I ever heard of barbershop were Wilder Fury 1, and of recent, Wilder Fury 1 and a potential Crawford Spence fight, but they were all decaf, so I just discount it.
Yeah, I mean, and we're being gypped of those events, because whoever wins that fight between those two, every fight they fight after that is going to be barbershop material. But like, while we're debating like fucking or celebrating the fact that Errol Spence has pulled off plus 300,000 pay-per-view event, which is not a big feat. I mean, like, that's a alright feat. Fucking
right now, I don't think 300 that, like, even to take into account all the fucking streaming that people like me do, I think you want to be a hard hitter, you have to hit 1 million. You have to hit 1 million plus to really say, okay, I'm here now. Like Wilder Fury 2 did 1.2 million in digital and what's it called? Direct buys.
Yo, I want to let Mike jump on, but before I do, Mike, let me just run through the comments. I didn't even know I was getting fucking comments. But yeah, my man Trey X just came through. Salute it, Trey X. And he said what up to the panel. Lala D, thanks for coming through too. A big fan of Lala D. Mad love for the girl. Lala D was saying what up to Trey X, and Lala D was saying what's up to you and Mike. Lowe's D came through. Yo, Lowe's D, man, I think I just threw you a link, man. So could I'm through. No.
I'll send you his email.
Yeah, Lala D said I feel like they're both kind of lame now too. Yeah, Lala. I mean, like, and I'm not like, that's why I don't want to pick sides. I mean, like, as far as saying like one merits more than the other. And I'll use a recent example too, as far as with the Mayweather Pacquiao shit in a second. But let me just read through the comments again. Lala D, Trey X said what's up to Lala, and Lowe's D said what up to Lala too. And Lowe's D asked for the link. We're getting it to you, big fella. But yeah, Mike, what do you think? If you have any comments, let us know.
Yeah, I got some comments. A long time ago on the Smoke City Mobcast, Blood Boxing asked me who do I think is ducking out of the two. And I said both of them. And, I was paying attention to some of this stuff, but, I didn't really want to get into it at the time. But then, as time went on, I said, well, Spence is the only one with a said contract. But after a while, of all this back and forth, you get the message. And the message is that it seems like the fight is not big enough. They seem like the fight is not big enough for the two of them. I'm not going into the who's ducking who and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, me as a fight fan, I don't care who sold what. I don't care, who got the contract, who got the worst, the best contract, what network, what promoted the guy with. Give me the fights that I want to see, and it's a fight that everybody wants to see. So picking sides and stuff like that is only going to go and feed fuel the fire that these guys that whether that's somebody saying 60-40 or 70-30 or whatever the case may be, or might not fight you at all. Picking sides fuels the fire, and as boxing fans, it's fun to get into the arguments of the business of boxing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we the ones that's losing. We the ones that's losing. I mean, who got some Earl Spence pay-per-view, right? Okay. Look what they're doing with Derek Storm and Joseph Parker pay-per-view. So we feeling the fire. How come we can't just sit back and be like, hey man, just give us a fucking fight that we want to see, and that's it? Why everybody got to be on Twitter making these videos and why this guy should accept this and accept that? That's his fucking business. If you was in Crawford's shoes, you'd probably think different than right now. Because half of us is, a lot of us on YouTube and on Twitter and everything, we getting less than $100,000 a year. Not the whole household, just one person, right? Some of us getting 30, 40, 50, 60. Some of us getting 80, 90, 120. So who the fuck is us to sit up over here and tell this rich motherfucker what he should and should not take? Because if we was in his shoes, we'd probably be sitting up over there laughing at people on social media picking sides because they probably like, man, we know we're going to make this fight 2 years from now and this and the third. Look, they act like they know what they talking about. Whoop de whoop whoop. Stay the fuck out of it. Shit been going on forever.
Word up. No, and much respect for you opening the fucking beer bottle with that butcher knife, bro. That was pretty dope. But and when we talk about when I've heard fans say that they're trying to build up the fight, I don't know what fucking event would it take for that fight to be bigger. Like, I mean, like they would literally have to like decapitate Pacquiao, like one of the two, to make the fight a little bit bigger, but it won't make the fight like hard body bigger than what it is now. I think the fight has probably reached its apex as far as potential of what it could be. It's just and I think that they would probably see more like if they fought rematch, maybe a trilogy. But that fight I think has reached its apex in as to like how much it could sell in the future. Like fucking fight already, bro. Like yo, my man Lowe's just came through, man. Like Lowe's, if you could please tell the people where we could find you, my brother, from across the Atlantic. Lowe's, I don't know if you were trying to speak, but I couldn't hear you.
You might be on mute.
Can you hear me?
Now,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Lowe's. Like, thanks for coming through, man. If you could let the people know where we could find you.
Easy. Lost D Punch Out TV on YouTube. No problem. That's
One of the finest no BS channels across the land, but he happens to be situated in the British Isles.
How are you?
But a great person too.
Oh, cheers. Thank you very much.
What's going on, Laws? What's up?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. You?
Good, good. Just been watching a couple of videos from you guys, man. You guys have been a bit active. I saw Mike's vid, I saw your vid, Laws, I saw L's vid. It means I have to put some work in. I have to make a vid. I don't know what to make of, but
Yeah. Did you go on? I'll talk about that after. What your brother's talking about? I heard the bit about Spence and Bud Crawford.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
no, I'll give him a synopsis of what we were breaking down, Ty, if you could.
Yeah, we can kind of think like I think Mike's analysis was pretty on point when he said that they're both trying to wait for the fight to get bigger. This is the problem with boxing today, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm speaking for my age group, so we people in this country do not know boxing. Like, I swear to God, like, and that's non-negotiable, dude. Like, I live here. I'm in my 20s. I grew up here, of course. My
Yeah.
friends never box. Like, boxing. If you were to have a school, right? Like, say I'm at my high school, right? I've been out of high school now. How many years? 4 or 5 years. Um, Maybe two people in a school of 15 or 1600 boxed.
Yeah.
80 people said they boxed, but they really didn't. You know, they were Gerald Washington. So it's people in this country have no idea about boxing, and it really showed when Marvin Hagler, R.I.P., he died.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
searched Marvin Hagler in in Google, and on Twitter, I was getting people like Matthew Macklin, Bellew, people who don't even live in this country, saying
Yeah.
their respects. So I'm
Exactly.
like, where are our guys? They probably didn't even know he died. There's
Yeah.
only a couple of hardcores, who know he died, but in general, nobody in this country knows. Nobody keeps up. Like, the problem is, if you walk to somebody, say in their mid 30s or mid 40s here, and ask them about boxing, they start trying to shadow box or doing this shitty stuff with their hands. They don't even know what they're doing, and they're like, "Look, I'm Tyson." Ugh. That's all they
Yeah.
know, because they are like the Uber decaf, like the super decaf. They
Yeah.
know nothing. It's completely retarded, and it's really
And
hard.
and they
I
won't
think.
shadow box like you're saying and mention a boxer of today too. Like they ain't gonna say
Nah,
like, "Ooh, I'm Bud Crawford." Like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they say, "Ooh, I'm
You
Bud
see.
Crawford." They said, "Look, I'm Tyson." And then they might put their hands together and start like, eesh, eesh, I'm Holyfield.
Yeah.
Uh,
Charlie Edwards.
know how oh no, they don't even they nobody will know him. Even if they literally had a slideshow 5 minutes about him before you ask them the question, they still wouldn't know who Charlie Edwards is.
You see, the thing is with boxing, like this, sort of going off what you're talking about, but it's going to come straight back to it. I'm very fortunate now when my old ass looks at boxing. So I'm 45 now, so it's not old, but it's. I'm very fortunate that I caught the last years of Hagley, the very last years of him, Ray Leonard, Hearns, all fighters like that. I grew up through the Tyson era, I grew up through the Lennox Lewis era, even up until like 2010, 2011, when you had the likes of Mayweather, Cotto, Sugar Shane Mosley, Margarita, even though he's a cheat. But, fights were still made. Zab Judah, fighters like that, fights were still made. And I feel after 2011, 2012, boxing's just gone
Yeah,
down, 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 and down and down. And every year it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I am now, I've heard you and Al say for a long time, even Brooklyn Child, like boxing, it's gone. It's
boxing.
gone. But I, because I've always followed boxing, I've tried to hold on to them strings. But at this moment in time now, I'm seriously, and I mean this, I know I keep saying it, but I'm seriously thinking about just fucking it all off, cutting my channel down. I can't be asked to waste my time talking about a bullshit fight what doesn't mean anything to me or a hardcore. I'm not saying I'm hardcore, but a knowledgeable fan or a hardcore fan. A casual is going to watch bullshit. This negotiation between Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. It's an ongoing saga like the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather. It's a load of bullshit. The fight will happen one day, but I guarantee you're not going to see it for the next 2 or 3 years, and we've already been talking about it for 2 or 3 years. And the same with this, just same thing about boxing with all the bullshit, because of Al's title, Bullshit and Boxing. This Joseph Parker fight, we only spoke about this on my live stream a couple of weeks ago, about Joseph Parker, a good fighter, fighting mid-tier heavyweight fucking fighters. I found out tonight he's fighting Derek Chisora. I do not want to watch that bullshit. A journeyman who was getting, I don't blame Derek Chisora, but a journeyman who's got 10 losses on his record is still making pay-per-view fights. How the fuck does somebody who's got 10 fucking losses on his record still be a pay-per-view star? The boxing, I've just had enough of it, mate. I've had enough of all this he say, she say. I've had enough of all this Wilder fucking Tyson Fury, AJ, the fight's made, no it's not, no contracts. I'm seriously just, I've had enough of, I'm just glad I hold on, like you say, Marvelous Marvin Hagler died. I watched a fight with him the other day when he beat a guy from Britain called Tony Simpson. He beat the dog shit out of him 6 rounds. It was in Massachusetts in the US. But Tony Simpson beat Alan Minter, who Hagler took the title off. I love watching old classic fights. Me now, boxing today, I'm done with it, mate. I'm done with it. It's bullshit.
No, I agree. I agree with your sentiment, Lowe's, and I just wanted to give a little input. Maybe let Ty respond
Yeah.
too. But Lala D said Lowe's comment is far more accurate than Tyrone's. Boxing is declining, but to say nobody in this country knows Margaret Hagler, that is insane. I think with that though, and I'll let Tyrone respond too.
Salute to Lala, Queen.
Yeah. But like real quick though, like to give a little background information, just in case. Tyrone is far younger than like me, Lowe's,
I'm like half
Mike.
Age, except for
age-wise.
I'm close to Mike, because Mike isn't. I don't think Mike is 34. It's like 32.
No, I'm 34.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. But yeah,
Mike's closer to me than you are to Mike. So.
Can I speak though, Tyrone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tyrone's right. And I think what he really meant was that people know who Marvin Hagler is, but they don't know who he is.
My bad. Hello, Mike.
Guys,
my bad, bro.
And a lot of these young guys that's 28 and younger don't even know what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? And I got nobody at my job, if it wasn't for ESPN and on their news feed on their phone, wouldn't even know he died. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't even know. Like when I walk around, because right now I'm in Saginaw, right? I walk around Saginaw, and I can ask people, this in the third, blah blah blah, woo woo woo. They won't even know nothing about boxing. They won't know nothing about no damn Marvin Hagler. You know what I'm saying? And unless you're talking to a guy that's 34 and up, you know what I'm saying? That's different. That's different.
Yeah.
If you're talking to a dude that's 30 and below, they might not even know what he looked like.
And I'll you guys, and for all the boxing I know, what an expert I am. Do you know that hat Marvin Hagler was, where he's like pointed out that picture people have on their profile? It says "War" on it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know until yesterday. I thought it was Mayweather the whole time.
You know what?
I thought it was Mayweather.
Who knows?
I thought
because
it was Mayweather. I
Mayweather really
was like,
want to be his
that
daddy.
in the profile pic. I thought it was Mayweather because he had the goatee.
Might just be his daddy. Yeah, his daddy his daddy was too busy doing extracurricular.
But I also wouldn't sell yourself short, Ty, because for a young person, you're an anomaly in that you do know a lot of boxing and you follow like current boxing, which I do appreciate that. Like, because I'm fucking giving up on boxing, and like Lala D sent to that effect too, as far as saying I'm almost done with boxing. Lows, like, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Lala. Um, and as for and where it relates to the Errol Spence Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence, Bud Crawford argument.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may see it as a more of a picking on Errol Spence thing, but a lot of people, it's just that I see more online, especially channels that I love, like people that come more to the defense of Errol Spence as far as like as it pertains to this negotiation or fighting Bud or giving excuses why he shouldn't be fighting Bud or caving into him. And a lot of people like I'm pretty sure Lowe's remembers when it was fucking Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather. A lot of people were saying that that was a 50-50 fight and Mayweather should have been like I thought Mayweather was a bigger fighter by any stretch during that time. What took that fight to happen was fucking Manny Pacquiao losing to Timothy Bradley in a bullshit decision, and then getting knocked out by Marquez. A lot of people still said that Manny Pacquiao was 50-50 with Mayweather even after he lost to Bradley in what was probably a little bit of a robbery. But what made that fight happen at the end of the day was Manny Pacquiao getting his ass knocked out by Marquez. And Manny Pacquiao already lost like 2 times before that, and he had 2 draws if I remember correctly. Before he even got knocked out by Marquez. But I also made this observation, Lowe's, in that um, Antonio Margarito maybe I don't even, and I'll probably put him out of the top 10 of welterweights of the 2000s. In my eyes, he may be in the top 10, but he's probably like right outside of the top 10. Antonio Margarito has had bigger events than both. There's probably like 3 fights that Antonio Margarito had that were way bigger events than what Errol Spence or Bud Crawford has had in their whole careers.
Listen, bro, it doesn't matter whether he had bigger fights or lesser fights than Errol Spence or these fighters of today. Even though he's a cheating arse mofo, Margarita and fighters from that era would whoop on these fighters of today. These fighters of today, like Tyrone says, decafs, the handbags, mate. Boxing's bullshit, man. Today, this you take 30%, you have 60%. Listen, man, the money comes. The money comes when you start fucking shining. You start. It's like having a job. You start at the bottom. If you go to a job and you know that you want to get to a certain place in that job, you start at the bottom. The money's shit, the work's shit. You work your way up to the top. That's how it is. That's how boxing should be. You shouldn't moan about money. If you know that you're good enough and you truly and deeply believe in yourself that you're good enough to be a world champion, and people around you are telling you that you're going to be a world champion, fuck the money. I mean, don't fuck the money, but you know what I'm trying to say. You don't come with this the A side, B side, and all that rubbish. Go for it, man. Take a chance. That's what
Yeah,
life's about. You
chase the
take a
big money
chance.
afterwards, bro. Like fucking,
Exactly, Al.
you'll get every chance in the world.
Look at the old fighters, man, of yesteryear. Them old fighters didn't moan about the A side, B side, which side of the street we're on. They went for it. Fighters for, I was watching a couple of weeks back, about 2, 3 weeks ago. I was watching old fights from the 90s, the Riddick Bowe's, the Holyfields, the Razor Ruddocks, the Mike Tysons, the Tommy Morrisons, the Ray Mercers, all them fights, Michael Bent. even Frank Bruno, fighters like that. That was boxing. Boxing's, I don't know, bro. Boxing's dead, man. It's dead. To me, I'll tell you the two over the last, what we had, 2021, over the last 2 or 3 years, for me, the best fights I've seen is Spence versus Porter, Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, and I can't honestly think of a good fight since then. What's been made? There probably has been, but just off the top of my head, fights what weren't really bumped up to be. I mean, the Josh Taylor fight over here versus Regis Prograis was bumped up, so yeah, that was a fantastic fight. But all this Bud Crawford and Errol Spence and I don't know. Go on, Tyrone. My bad, bro.
AJ Klitschko was one of the better fights of the past couple years.
I was just
but it's already been a while though. That shit we're reaching on 5 years since the motherfuckers fought.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like in the last 3 years, I gotta agree with Lowe's. Like as far as like I know Lowe's and me were and everybody on this panel were like really big on the Josh Taylor Regis Prograis fight. But you really can't like call out like a lot of dope fights that happened. I mean, even the Porter Spence fight, it was a good fight, but it wasn't like world class. Like holy shit, like fucking that was something to write home about. Because I put go ahead, my bad.
The one that I won't like, I have to be honest, man. The one that got me out of my seat because I really wanted to see him lose. I was at somebody else's house. Was AJ Klitschko. I know I was just getting back into boxing then. I was getting back into it, so I was getting out of my casual sphere. So if I were to look at it now, it probably wouldn't have been all that. But at the time, for me, I was, my hair was going back, and I was getting up out of my seat, and I was trying to rush and get my diet soda quickly so I didn't miss the round and stuff like that.
But you were rooting against AJ or for AJ?
I was rooting against him. I was trying to see.
I was rooting for AJ like a motherfucker that fight. What about you, Lo? Like, and Mike, were you guys cheering for AJ or Klitschko in that fight?
I wasn't rooting for neither one of them because the age of Klitschko and the youngness of AJ, I was just more of whoever wins. Here comes the bullshit.
What about you, Lowe's? Who were you cheering for in that particular fight? Lowe's is probably taking a piss. Nah, but yeah, I remember vividly. I was fucking happy that AJ won. AJ started with the bullshit right after that fight, but that fight was a classic. I mean, like, even by yesteryear standards, like it was a dope fight. Nah, but
let me say something first, though.
Go ahead, Mike. You haven't spoken.
Nobody in life has been taught to live, for tomorrow and all that shit, and to wait and sit back. I always been taught to live for today. You know what I'm saying? And as me as a boxing fan, I'm not worried about what a motherfucker did a year ago, 2 years ago, and stuff like that. What are you doing now? Yeah, we had COVID and all that stuff, but if everybody want to talk about brands and pay-per-view and stuff like that, how do you get fans to gravitate to you when you ain't fighting nobody today? But you want to worry about fighting somebody tomorrow.
Exactly, Mike.
So
that's the problem, bro.
When people keep doing this, and when you hear even debates on ESPN and all these other networks about UFC and boxing and what boxing should do, and YouTubers talking about boxing should take a page out of UFC's page when they can't, because it would mean damn near a monopoly. It ain't going to happen. Marsilio Suleiman is not going to let his stronghold go. All the other sanctioned bodies aren't going to let their stronghold go and give it to somebody else. Are you nuts? They're in other countries. You can't dictate to these guys. So at the end of the day, it's up to these boxers and promoters. You got young guys out here, you know, whether that is Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, or who the fuck ever, talking about pay-per-view. Already talking about, you hear guys talking about, you hear presidents of sanctioning bodies was like, well, they both agreed to fight these other guys and then fight each other later. So when you start hearing that stuff, like, you know, we start seeing this stuff, man. I ain't picking no sides with a lot of these things, man. I'm just like, give my fucking fight, you bum ass motherfuckers. Some of y'all have regular jobs. Some of y'all is this close to fucking being right where I'm at. If you don't fucking fight, who the fuck are you supposed to fight? Evander Holyfield said it, and nobody's ever paid attention to him. He said, I fought the fights I was supposed to fight that was in front of me. All these other guys now, they ain't doing that. They more worried about
Mike, exactly, bro.
Trying to be famous and trying to be rich, driving these Bugattis and things and stuff like that. Right now, then look, if Earl was to fight Crawford a long time ago, right, he'd probably be doing more numbers than he's doing right now. If Devin Haney and Garcia was to fight, because they're very young, they can still make another rivalry fight down the line, right? Could be more bigger than what they are right now. And then more people will want to fucking fight them. More people, they'll give them more legitimacy. But guess what they're doing? Poor ass Gary Russell. Mr. one time a year. Or no time a year if you can't get the right fight. Same thing with that. Fight who the fuck? Force these guys to fight you. What the hell you got a manager or promoter for? Nothing. Because ain't nobody promoting and ain't nobody managing.
The thing is, though, Mike. Sorry, I'll just quickly put in. The thing is that, unfortunately, bro, this is the way it's going. And then on top of that, you've got all this bullshit with the fucking YouTube fights. These YouTube celebrity fights being made. I mean, I was looking earlier on Google. It just come up earlier on my phone. That fucking, oh God, what's his name from over here? The guy who won the world's strongest man about 4 or 3 years ago. He's fighting. Yeah, he's fighting the guy out of Game of Thrones in a boxing match.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Eddie Hall, that's his name. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Two fucking guys who weigh like fucking 20 odd fucking stone. Like 400, 500 pounds. Who the fuck's going to watch that shit?
Wait, 20 stone. Is he too? It's 10.
Yeah, word up.
You know,
they weigh more than that. They're maybe like 25, 26.
Yeah, but they've lost weight though now. Eddie Hall's been fucking training, doing cardio for last year or so, but it don't matter. He's still going to be watching like two turtles fighting, isn't he?
He's the same guy who collapsed after the 1,100-pound deadlift.
Yeah, it's going to be like watching two fucking turtles fighting.
Man, those guys they can't pass a fucking PED test.
Exactly, Mike. Yeah, that's what I mean. And you got this Jake Paul with all this shit. Listen, man, this is what I stress, and I'm going to do a video about this tomorrow because I'm a big Joseph Parker fan, right? I like Joseph Parker as a fighter, but I decline his fucking BS bullshit what this guy is doing. And Derek Chisora's going to get a new arsehole ripped tomorrow. And so we're fucking Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports, because at the end of the day, right, if these fucking people are gonna be dumb enough to buy into this shit, the same with the Bud Crawford shit and the Tyson Fury and the fucking Anthony Joshua and the rest of the fucking BS what's going on up and down the divisions, fucking who Mike said before, Devin Haney and Tank Davies, not so much them, but the fucking Twitter fingers. What's his fucking name? Ryan Garcia. Yeah, that fucking fanny. As long as fucking people are going to listen and buy into this bullshit, what they're doing, boxing is on the way down faster and faster every year, because you got clowns like these who are supposed to be fighters calling out all fighters saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I can beat you. but no fucking fights are made. No fights are made. And then they're telling lies saying me and Manny Pacquiao are fighting. And then we find out it's all a lie. The thing is,
I thoroughly agree.
the
The
thing is now with Charlo, right? Charlo's called out David Benavidez. David Benavidez has called out Charlo. I was listening to Cali do a live yesterday. A fantastic fight. If it's made this as a dope ass fight. But like Cali said now, one of you has got to back this up. You've got to back this up now. Otherwise, we're going to end up down this fucking same street with Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. and the rest of the fucking fannies what are fucking doing all this Twitter fingers. I'm going to do this and do that. And this is the reason why boxing is on the decline, because it seems to be the fashion now that one fighter's getting away with it, so the other fighter's going to start doing it, and then the next man does it, and then the next man does it, and so on and so on and so on. It's got to stop, and us, the fans, we do address this, but it's a small minority of us, because the rest of these fucking clown casuals go along with this bullshit, like the Joseph Parker and fucking Derek Chisora, and these fucking fools over here. What made me laugh, to get off quick and let you lot speak, but just one last thing, what made me laugh was, I seen that Boxing Square said that this is a pay-per-view fight. It's pay-per-view on Sky and pay-per-view on the Zone in the Australia, where Parker's from, and it's pay-per-view in the UK and the Solomon Islands, because Parker's got connections to the Solomon Islands. But in the US, it's free, and everywhere else, it's free. And I thought to myself, Eddie Hearn, do you honestly think the Americans ain't going to pay for this bullshit anyway? And none of these fighters are even from the fucking US. And you think that you're going to sell this BS bullshit fight? A man who's got 10 losses and is a journeyman, you're going to sell this as a pay-per-view to the English and the Australians? But you watch, people will buy that bullshit. Sorry for the rant. Go on.
No, don't worry, bro. Real quick, let me go to the comments, and I appreciate everybody who's watching, and everybody who's taking the time to comment. Like, I'm glad you're being interactive. But we left off with Trey X saying Josh Taylor is moving like a real fighter. Facts. Lala D agrees with him by saying Trey X, don't rub it in that I picked Rougarou. I think Los Dawkins picked Rougarou, and I think you thought Rougarou won, didn't you, Lo?
Me? Yeah.
Me,
Only because I think he won the last 2 rounds, 11 and 12.
That was a great fight, though.
Oh, it was a fantastic fight. Very, very, very close fight. Hats off to both of them. But I think Regis just nicked it because of them last 2 rounds. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, Lowe's Dawkins said Lala D, he was my greatest fighter of all time. Second was the G-Man. Trey X actually made a good point about Gozovic versus Beterbiev was a good fight too. We actually spoke, me and Lowe's Dawkins, the day after that fight, or the morning after, and that was a great fight. Trey X is agreeing with Lala D, and Lala D agreeing with Lowe's. Lala D says he making fun of the comment that Tyrone said, that he said my casual sphere. That Matua is a Klitsch guy. He left MXBC. I don't know what that means. And Trey X said, I'm assuming to him, don't come in here with that BS. Lala D is saying that they're a bunch of divas. And Lala D also said, but I blame us, the fans, that we keep breathing life into their lazy diva behavior. We need to ignore them. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that's more of what this video is about. Not picking sides, because I think nobody within this video, thankfully, or within this live that we've been on for close to an hour, has said that this guy got to take 40%, or that guy got to take 40%, or he's lucky if he gets 20% like fucking tomorrow. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. I think both of these dudes are lame. And like, if we go back to recent history, when Wilder gave Fury 50-50 in part 1 of that fight, nobody was saying like, oh, what the fuck are you doing, Wilder? Like, what, we gave credit like to Wilder for giving 50-50, even though Fury wasn't deserving of 50-50 in my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes. but I didn't give a shit. The fight was gonna happen, and I think a lot of people should apply that same standard to whoever, Errol Spence, because he's the A side in a lot of people's eyes between him and Bud Crawford, and say, why don't you do what fucking Wilder just did a couple years ago, which and made a big event happen by caving in a little bit, like and fucking giving up that 50-50. Another thing too, bro. I mean, nobody's gonna agree with me on this one, but if it were up to me to watch Ugas versus Errol Spence or Parker versus Chisora, I watch Parker versus Chisora, and disagree with me if you want, but it's heavyweights, and I don't think shit of Ugas.
I think Porter Ugas fight is Spence Ugas fight is a whitewash.
But which fight would you rather watch if you had to fight? If you had to watch it this weekend? I mean, you can make a case for either one, but it's to me, it's not like a resounding like, oh wow, like
I see Ugas stomped out and really getting rid of, because I just don't like that guy.
Yeah, me neither, bro. It's refreshing for you to say that because I don't like how Homeboy's moving. Like he thinks too much of himself for beating fucking Abel Ramos like for a fucking vacant belt. Like I don't even know how that was. Abel Ramos was even contending for the fucking WBA belt in that fight.
Yeah, it's just it's the whole thing is just kind of a joke. Like
yeah,
you can take out Ugas today just in camp. Just in camp as a part of training camp for another.
Yeah, and like I said, bro, if they were fighting Ugas in May, which is pretty close around the corner, and a fight with Bud Crawford, like is already set in stone, like September, I probably wouldn't be tripping because I know like what to look forward to, and I know like I'm gonna have a good summer and a good fight at the end of the summer. But we ain't gonna get none of that shit because like come when he picks up that scraggly ass belt from Ugas, he's gonna say that he's deserving of fucking
facts. Fucking
25%. And
I was reading your mind. Sorry to butt in. I was reading your mind.
Nah, bro.
I was said the same thing to the Cali Enigma a few weeks ago. I was just listening. I was reading your mind. You went straight down the same street where I was heading. This is what I said to Cali. If he beats Ugas, right, he's got 3 belts then. What more BS is going to come of it then, Al?
No, and people...
I think that they know that at the end of the day, they're going to fight, but right now it's just not the time. In their opinion, that's just how I feel. I don't think it is no 60-40 or whatever. I just think they lying to kick it.
Before I get to your response, Tyrone, let me read some comments again. Lala D, not an Ugas fan either. He's like Bartholomew. These two don't even represent Cuban boxing like Lara, Rigo, and Ortiz. True that. And recent history with Lala, Rigo, and Ortiz. Like Ugas is nowhere near them three. Trey X said, Lala D, I blame the fans for all the belts too. We love championship fights and undefeated fighters. Yeah, I agree with you, Trey X, in that sentiment. But little by little, that's like losing a lot of its luster. Like the fact that a fight is fighting for a championship belt, or the fact that a fighter is undefeated. There's like mad undefeated fighters, and they all think they're the shit. They're all like punk ass little kids too. I can't stand little kids no more. Like the way that these dudes think. Lala D, Rigo embarrassed me against Lomachenko though. True that. Lala D agrees with Trey X, and Trey X said, "Tell me about it." Like, yeah, I was pissed off that fight, man. But Tyrone, what's your response as far as like Errol Spence winning a fight against Ugas? You think that gets us closer to the promised land as far as him fighting against Bud? I don't know if Tyrone did. We can't hear you. But interject at any point if you want, though. Like, but I want to pivot too, like to my next subject matter, which I know all you guys are riveted about because we sort of touched on it a little bit. But as far as these prospective fights, again, more fucking fights down down the line in the future, hopefully. But some people saying that Tyson Fury and Fury AJ's a done deal, but also like the suggestion being made that Wilder should fight Dillian White and or Povetkin while this is happening. Um, Tyrone, if you're there, let me know. But I just want to see what your guys' opinion is. But if not, I'll move on to Mike. And I want Mike, tell me what you think. Like, I'm pretty sure that you don't think that the fight with Fury and AJ is set in stone yet. I think that it sort of is, but who the fuck knows? Especially when it comes to Fury. But do you think that fight's set in stone? And what do you think as far as the suggestion being made of Wilder fighting Dillian White and or Povetkin while Fury and AJ fight each other?
Well, I don't. This is my opinion. What I tell everybody is just to stay, uh, you know, pretty much on the fence with it, because at the end of the day, we really don't know what's going on. We're getting bits and pieces and stuff like that. Whether that is Mike Coppinger and Frank Warren, Aaron, AJ, whoever. We're getting all this type of information flowing in, but we're not in a camps. We don't know what's really going on. But what I do see is a lot of capping. There's no evidence of anybody putting up a billionaire putting up money, $200 million. There's no evidence of nothing. I think that right there is just a way of inflating the market for the fight. This is nowhere near a Floyd and Pacquiao type of fight, in my opinion. They haven't done those even type of numbers to even equate to that, to even prove that that's that type of fight. And there's too many liars, too many deceivers, and a mix of this to where you can't really put. I can't really put my finger on who's telling the truth or not, or who's just trying to ride people along. But I would say this: Mike Coppinger was the only one outside of everybody's camp to actually say something that's actually you could read in black and white.
And what was that?
Basically, at the end of the day, if you're doing business under the confines of the WBC, you could file grievances with people. Whether or not you're a promoter or manager, and your boxer is talking to somebody else, you could file a grievance. And what's proof to that is that all these boxing commissions, they have that type of thing clause in their rules too. Just go look it up and you can read it yourself.
So you're saying that in the case of Wilder, that he may still have a chance,
due
to the fact that,
and I'm giving you, and I'm gonna give you an example of that. And I actually have the documents to prove this, and I showed you guys the documents as well.
Before anybody makes assumptions too, Mike is very good at finding the legal S and the legal documents as it pertains to a lot of these promotions or boxing business. I don't know if you want to I'm not blowing up spots. I'm trying to be very vague. But Mike, this is not Mike assuming. He usually very good at digging up these legal documents and sharing them with.
I'm just real intrigued on who is telling the truth and who's not. And if I have the means to find some stuff, then I'm gonna go out there and dig for it and find it. And these boxing commissions and these boxing organizations, these belts, they have caveats for grievances when people are which basically they basically have jurisdiction over a lot of things that people don't understand. Section 5.
How does it relate to this?
I'm getting there. That's what I'm getting at. I'm getting at. Section 5 of the WBC is not written the best ways of ways, but basically what that means is in Section 5, the first 2 paragraphs or whatever, and then going on to mediation and arbitration. It basically tells you that if you're doing business under the WBC, you can file a grievance with anybody. And these boxing, California State Athletic Commission, they have those same. A lot of these boxing commissions have those same caveats. And the example that I was saying before is Joseph Diaz. Joseph Diaz allegedly took $100,000 from MTK Global while he was in the contract with the Moses Arena. And basically what happened was Moses Arena filed a grievance by way of the California State Athletic Commission to start mediation. And a lot of these and a lot of these organizations and commissions, they have those caveats because what that does is that allows them to take care of their matters at the lowest possible level before it gets to the courts I forget what it's called, the Court of Arbitration for Sports, before it gets there. And
so who would this benefit, or in this situation, like Wilder, as far as having a legal standpoint?
Because everybody's been waiting for Wilder.
I didn't hear you. My bad, bro.
Everybody's waiting for Wilder to sue or to bust a move and stuff like that. In this case, you can't look it up because it's not through the courts. It's deemed by whoever they pick to be the arbitrators for this thing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, if what Mike Copper just said is true. You know what I'm saying? And if Bob Arum was indeed in charge of finding the venue, finding the date, and he didn't do so, then he's wrong as hell. Because that's a conflict of interest to get out of a fight, to fight for a so-called $200 million, which somebody just really pulled out of their ass to make everybody think that they about to get some money.
Yeah, let me go around the panel too. Lowe's, are you there? Or Tyrone?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Okay, yo, Lowe's, I want to give you a two-parter. No, don't worry about it. I want to give you a two-part question. No, don't worry about it. I want to give you a two-part question in this, because you'd have more insight than me and Mike and Tyrone.
I missed what you were saying though, because I was out of the room.
No. I'll ask you the same question though. I don't know if you've heard, but they're trying to make it seem as if Tyson Fury and AJ is a done deal, but they're also suggesting that Wilder, while this is happening, should be fighting Povetkin and or Dillian White, or vice versa. But also, and I want you to give me your opinion on both of those prospective fights, whether you think it's going to happen or not, or what do you think of the overall situation. But another thing too, if you could give us some insight, have you heard anything in regular media, like in the UK, as far as that fight happening, right, where it's set in stone, or as far as Fury versus AJ?
Right. First of all, yes and no. Yes, the media over here are saying that this fight is done, obviously, as you lot know. But obviously we know that there's no venue and no date and all that BS. But at the same time, BT did put up on YouTube yesterday, but BT are notorious for putting up BS fucking posters saying this fight's happening and all that. But Frank Warren's gone off his head apparently at Eddie Hearn, because apparently this fight isn't over the line. I tell you what I honestly and truly believe what's going to happen here, and what I think Wilder should do. I think, first of all, I think this fight will happen, and the reason why I'm saying that is because.
And that's AJ Fury, Lowe's?
Yeah, I think this fight will happen, but what I think will happen is, I think it'll happen I think Tyson Fury will drop the belt. This is just my honest opinion. I think the fight will happen because they're building it up over here. The media are building it up over here that it's undisputed. But obviously, we know that all the stuff what's going on over the contract and stuff with Wilder and Fury. I think, my honest opinion, I think the fight will happen, but I personally believe that Tyson Fury will drop that WBC belt and he'll just fight Anthony Joshua for the three belts what he's got. I think they will pay Usyk step aside money because of the WBO. They tried to come up with some bullshit that Usyk needs to fight Dillian White or someone, and after he beat Derek Chisora, they tried to. I forgot now off the top of my head. They would try and make Usyk fight another eliminator with someone. I forgot who it was. But as in that regard, just quickly to wrap that side up of it, I think this fight will happen, but it won't be undisputed. That's my personal view. I think Tyson Fury will drop the WBC belt. Now, as in Wilder saga, I think Wilder should keep doing what he's doing because at the end of the day, he was contracted to fight Wilder. Tyson Fury was contracted to fight Wilder. Now, whether the contract ran out, no one really knows the ins and outs of the contract. The pandemic with the COVID and all this bullshit. But as in Wilder taking step aside money or fighting Charles Martin or someone like that, or the winner of Dillian White Povetkin, hell no, no, no. Stick to your guns. You were honoured a contract as a second fight to fight him. Stick to your guns and take the guy all the way to what you can. If he does drop the belt and the belt becomes vacant, then it means that Wilder has to fight someone for that belt. Then hell yeah, you do that. But no, stick to your guns and fight him all the way. The reason why I'm saying this is because
you're saying it like in a legal sense, Lowe's, like as far as like Wilder shouldn't
bit of both. Wilder, I believe this fight with AJ will happen, but I don't think it's going to be undisputed. I think Tyson Fury will drop the belt. I think he will drop the belt and fight AJ because the money's there. The money's there. The Sky and everyone, BT, they are working together. Even though Fish Eyes and fucking Fast Eddie hate one another, the fight will happen, but it's not gonna be undisputed.
Well,
but,
can I say, Bones?
Yeah, go on, bro. Go ahead.
Right. So they run those media outlets though. It's their job as promoters to tell these.
I know that, Mike. Yeah.
To put the propaganda out there, and that's why I say that when they put those illusions of the Midas touch out there, they say that Edwin Hearn and AJ, they got the Midas touch with bringing backers into the sport of boxing to bring up $200 million or insinuate $1 billion guy is bidding for a fight and stuff like that. All of this is smoke and mirrors. They're the only ones who've been putting up propaganda.
No, but Mike, hold on, Mike, real quick though, and I want to ask this of you too, Lowe's. Do you think like as of like 2 weeks ago, like because we've been talking about like Fury and AJ having a prospective match, do you think we're closer at this point than we were 2 weeks ago, or do you think that they're just blowing more smoke? And you got to give an answer. Don't give conjecture. Like, do you think we're closer? Because I think we're closer like today than we were 2 weeks ago. Because I haven't heard shit like as far as
who of AJ and Fury making that fight.
That's correct. Yeah.
Do I think it's closer today than what
2 weeks than ago? It was like 2 weeks ago? Yeah. I'll ask you.
Yeah, I do.
Me too.
Yeah, I do. But like I keep stressing, it won't be undisputed. I guarantee you that.
I mean, I didn't look at it like that, Lowe's, But I agree with you. I mean, that could be a possibility.
It won't. I'm telling you. I mean, obviously,
And I'm not even gonna
I
trip about it.
can't.
I mean, like, like, and I think a lot of fans, like in the UK or around the world, like, will not be
You've hit
tripping
the
about
nail
it.
right on the head. That's what it'll come down to. You've hit the nail right on the head. It, they're putting out, like Mike said, the propaganda of it's undisputed and all this shit. But obviously, we know that it's not going to be undisputed because of legal terms and these contract with Wilder and all the stuff what's going on between them. That is why I'm stressing they will. I guarantee you, mate. Tyson Fury will drop that belt. I said this to Callie. I said he'll drop that belt, but Callie said, "Yeah, but he'll still have to fight Wilder." He won't do if he drops that belt though, because the British fans, right? The British fans want to see undisputed, but at the same time, they will go along quite very easily with Tyson Fury fighting AJ because at the end of the day, there's three belts on the line, and both of them fighters are unbeaten. So they will quite easily go along with that. If
Yeah, and Lowe's, frankly, I think, especially where it relates to the fans in the UK, I think they'd be cool with them fighting for no belts. Like if they fought
yeah,
next, like
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say as well. It doesn't matter whether it's undisputed or not undisputed. These two are the top two heavyweights over in this country, so they would be happy to see that fight anyway. Whether it means AJ has to drop the WBO and Tyson Fury drops the WBC, there's still the IBF and the WBA what's online. So they would be happy to see that. Plus, like you just said, both of these two fighters are sorry, they're not unbeaten, but both of these two fighters over here are the top two fighters in this country. So the fans will ride with that anyway. But
yeah,
as
my
in a
bad.
two as in
I'm
a
sorry.
two
I'm sorry.
hundred as in a £200 million fight, that fight ain't hitting 200 million.
Yeah, my bad. Lost one just came through, man. Thanks for coming through. He's saying what's up to
No,
you
no,
guys.
the lost one's split with you.
Yeah, but
Now go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
when I was saying the propaganda, I wasn't saying it. I was is the the propaganda when I was saying it for this fight was more geared to that the fight is going to happen, and that's the reason why they're selling the fight, and that's the reason why they keep selling Wilder out and for all these other fighters. When the Marcelo Suleiman never said that that's what he want to see. He said that's a good idea.
So hold
But
on, Mike. But you
hold up,
as
hold up,
that
hold
is
up,
that
hold
no,
up,
no, no,
hold up,
real quick.
hold up.
But like,
We,
what
we,
was
can't,
that?
we can't take that. We can't take
No, I'm
none.
not gonna step on your wisdom. I just want to make something clear.
No, because I already know what everybody's been saying.
No. I
You
just
know,
want to see like
and,
were did you have that stance for a while now, or like have you just come to
no, I
that
never
conclusion? Like,
had that stance of anything. Wilder threw out a whole bunch of names, and everybody picked one name out of the hat, out of that whole interview, and said he's fighting this guy. Next, um, and all that stuff, and Charles Martin fight happening. Stuff is going to continue to happen like that in the media, especially with Deontay Wilder, because it seems like they want him to be the bad guy. They want him to be the guy that lose. Um, and when I say the propaganda and everything is because, if you just look at media as a whole, that's what they do. Their job is to give you their point of view or somebody else's point of view that's paying the money. And a lot of these other promoters over here don't do that. They don't spend a lot of money for on social media and for news. And that's the reason why I say that, at the end of the day, even if they drop belts and stuff like that, it's going to make it very hard for Tyson Fury to take that fight because it's not going to be what Max Kellerman thinks that the step aside money is. It's going to be over whatever the courts deem that Tyson Fury owes in damages if he happens to renege on his contract. And that's the thing that people have to understand. The reason why you go to court is to recoup your damages or to make somebody to bend the elbows
to make them try to force them to abide by the contract that they signed. And
I think they are gonna hit like Wilder with some sort of bag though in that if they fight.
say again.
I think they're gonna try to hit Wilder with the bag, like if Fury and AJ go through with it.
But that's the thing is like then the media is going to say that Deontay Wilder took step aside money. But what are you supposed to do? You ain't supposed
Absolutely.
to sue this guy. You ain't supposed to sue this guy and take the money out of his mouth or well, what are you supposed to do in this thing? You're not supposed to sue. You're not supposed to get what's owed to you. The media is going to portray this as Wilder took step aside money. He never wanted to fight Tyson Fury. Point blank and simple.
I think so too. I agree with you, Mike. But one thing though, I think where Wilder erred as far as his tactic in getting this fight, or being like or cock blocking this fight, is that he should have been leveling a fucking campaign from hell, saying that he wants to fight, just making his availability to the media or putting videos out there himself.
Well, that's the thing is that he said what he said. He said he wanted to fight the guy. They picked it. They picked the October date. They didn't want it. See what I'm saying?
Mike, I'm sorry.
They
like
didn't want
Wilder said?
They didn't want the December date. Tyson Fury, out of his own mouth, said that he don't want to fight without no fans. So you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, how was it supposed to happen? This is the thing. What I keep trying to say, propaganda. If somebody says, I want my rematch in the ring, and somebody says they want their rematch outside of the ring, they say they're ready to go right now. What else you wanted the guy to say? Propaganda would say that the guy never was saying anything because these news outlets don't want to say what it is.
The thing is, though, Mike.
You could go ahead, Lance.
The thing is, Wilder is in a powerful enough position to even say, okay, go ahead, you two fight, but make sure that we can sign a contract that I fight the winner of you. He's in a powerful enough position to do that. And I just want to address this quickly, what Lost Ones put. Lost Ones put, I think Wilder should fight the winner of Povetkin and White. He has history with both of them. I put, why Lost One? He's put, well, suppose the fight Povetkin a while ago, the big hype was around loads of promos or whatever. I don't need my glasses for this. He popped. I'm sure they know all the white business. Listen, this is what I'm talking about, what we was going back to before, where we were talking about the fans talking about casual fan. I'm not saying you're a casual Lost One. I'm not saying that. I'm just going off what we were talking about earlier. Casual fans siding with these fights. Listen, you've got a world champion, right? He was unbeaten. He held the title for 10 successive fights. Whether he fought bums in your eyes or my eyes or anyone's eyes, it don't matter. He had 10 successful defenses of his title. He lost to Tyson Fury, right? Push aside all the Glovegate and all this bullshit, right? If them two fight, then Deontay Wilder is in a powerful enough position to say he does take step aside money, which I think he shouldn't, but if he does, make sure that he gets in writing in a contract that he fights the winner of Fury versus Joshua. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if Deontay Wilder was to go and fight the winner of Povetkin and Dillian White, that is the same thing what Joseph Parker is doing now. He's going backwards instead of going forwards. It doesn't matter whether he's got beef with Dillian White or he should have fought Povetkin. Dillian White and Povetkin are not on the same level as Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua. They're a couple of runs further down the ladder. So for Wilder to go and do that would be fucking stupid. Because I know for a fact if I was a world champion and I lost a fight, and then the two other fighters who held the belts were making undisputed, and I had the chance to fight them, or I was in the position because I see Wilder higher than Dillian White and Povetkin, it's not going to do Wilder any good fighting the winner of Povetkin and Dillian White. Dillian White got iced off a 41-year-old Povetkin. Povetkin is 41 years old who struggled with Michael Hunter 2 years ago. So what the fuck? Why would Deontay Wilder want to fight the winner of Povetkin and White? No, he wants to fight the winner of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury if that fight's made. And he did take step aside money. I'm saying if he did, because let's not get this twisted. The top three heavyweights are Tyson, in no particular order, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Don't matter which way you mix it. For me, as a boxing fan, they are the top three fighters. Them three should be mixing it up. Not no fucking Dillian White and not no Povetkin.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, and I think what Lost One sort of responded in saying that, well, if this fight goes ahead, what else can Wilder do? Last thing he should do is sit on his hands. I agree with both of your points, but Lost One in that sense, the other suggestion is that Wilder would have to wait for the victor of Povetkin and Dillian White and fight that person. If he were fighting Povetkin before fighting Povetkin and Dillian White mixed it up, then I would kind of see your point. But and then I think Lowe's is suggesting that having to like sort of wait around for that fight or having to fight somebody who's not Tyson Fury or AJ is a step back for Wilder, which I agree with both of your points. If that's what you're contending.
Of course, just like I stressed earlier about Joseph Parker fighting Derek Chisora. What the fuck is that doing for Joseph Parker's career? This guy is the former WBO heavyweight champion. He's been bumming around for the last few years fighting mid-tier heavyweight fighters. Now,
but those honestly, like, but with like Chisora and Parker mixing it up, it's to me, it's not even like a travesty because they're like a rung below. Like the three guys we just mentioned.
Exactly.
But the travesty lies in the fact that they're charging for that fight.
But this is the thing, though. Like I said, me and Mike spoke about this. Joseph Parker beats Derek Chisora, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Where does Joseph Parker go from there? But Derek Chisora beats Joseph Parker. It's another pay-per-view fight for Derek Chisora, and he fights another top, say 8 heavyweight, and he gets fucking beat. It's common sense, man. You just don't do this. You don't do. Joseph Parker is streets ahead of Derek Chisora, right? I love Derek. He's a great fighter. He's been an asset to the sport. But like Mike said, he's always out of shape. He's blowing out of his arse. He's a $1 million gatekeeper. That's all he is. And these fucking idiots are going to pay and watch this fight. If Joseph Parker beats him, does that move him up any further up the fucking board or up the ladder than what it did when he beat Junior Farr? No.
And my bad, Mike. Before you go in, I'll let you, real quick, one thing like with Lowe's is contending too, with Lost One, and then we're not ganging up on you, Lost One, because I do agree with some of what you're saying.
Lost One's all right, man.
Yeah. But Wilder like kind of like accepting one of those fights or waiting around for one of those fights, like kind of puts him like within that bottom rung, like or like waiting around for two fighters that are one notch below him. Like Wilder's in a fucked up position. Like basically, if AJ and Fury fight, there's no like. I mean, Charles Martin, no way I want to see that shit.
Exactly, Al.
If he were fighting successively, like Povetkin and Dillian White, or Dillian White and Povetkin, I wouldn't mind that either. But he's not. He's waiting on the winner of that fight, which I mean, he's not gonna get much credit for like fighting anyway. So he's in a fucked up position. Like I mean, like and frankly, I mean, you guys may not agree with me, but I said this before that like Wilder was managed a little bit fucked up. Like I don't even know why Charles Martin didn't even enter the conversation. Like that's kind of like fucked up by association. Like in you suggesting, or my promotion suggesting that Wilder like should fight Martin, or Martin and Wilder might be a possibility. Like that's a bum. But Martin's a bum ass dude, bro. Michael fuck up Martin.
Yeah.
But
Listen, the easiest and quickest way before Mike jumps on, because I know Mike's ready to go. The quickest way to explain this is it's like having a Porsche and then being dropped down to a fucking BMW, or a Ferrari and then dropped down to a BMW. You're not going to do it, are you? Go on,
Fuck
Mike.
you, bro. I got a BMW. Fuck you.
No, I'm just saying, you know.
I know,
He's,
bro.
go on,
I know
bro.
what you said. I just had to give you a hard time on that. But look,
and Mike, if you want cook on the subject too, but I also wanted to ask you if Wilder and Fury, I mean AJ and Fury are to fight next, who do you think Wilder should fight?
who do I think he should fight? I think he should just fight whoever's in front of him. Of course, the WBC is intrigued on calling for another mandatory. And
Yeah.
that would be Wilder and White. But a part of me is saying that maybe he should not fight that motherfucker and let him starve. And fight the guy that whooped him in the amateurs. Or fight somebody else out there that can, because look, he's gonna have to fight somebody that's in front of him, that put him in line for a title shot, because whether or not he takes step aside money, like Law said, and get something in writing. Contracts to these guys obviously ain't meaning a damn thing. Somebody did you wrong once, most likely they'll fucking do it again. Or just leave the sport of boxing. Retire. So what I say what Wilder should do is, I think he should just keep on. He needs to just fight whoever. I don't give a fuck, because ain't too much out there. Just go ahead and fight the motherfuckers that's supposed to be in front of you. Dillian White or Povetkin is going to be one of them. One of them tired ass motherfuckers that's been sitting up over there. You got who else is out there?
Yo, my bad, Mike. Real quick, like one suggestion and this is why I think like PBC kind of fucked up, because Wilder is the biggest heavyweight on PBC, not even what like they know like close second, and they should have been planning Wilder's fight like fucking, or like making backup plans for Wilder, and the best backup plan for Wilder would have been Andy Ruiz.
But that's the thing, you can't make up backup plans right now, and the reason why you can't make up backup plans right now is because you could make. Wilder is big enough to make any plans at any given time. People out there.
Real quick though. But Andy Ruiz versus Wilder fight would have been. I mean, I'm not saying it's like top billing or like fucking pay-per-view status or anything like that. It probably would be on pay-per-view, but it's like way more relevant than like him fighting like Charles fucking Martin.
Good fight.
You know? Yeah, it's a good fight. It's a pretty good fight.
I'm just going on to whoever he needs to fight to get a belt back. You know what I'm saying? The guy that's in front of you. That's the guy that's in front of you. The guy, whoever it is, to get a belt back. And that's what I think Wilder should do. And it most likely it ain't gonna be no damn Andy Ruiz. So like I was saying, is that with this whole thing with Wilder is I'm not taking no step aside money for none of this shit. I would literally stick to my guns and stuff like that. I'm not making no backup plans or anything like that, because this is the plan. Everybody else out there wants to fight Deontay Wilder. So that's not a getting a fight is not an issue. The issue is that you got a punktified ass so-called Gypsy King out there that don't want to that reneged on the contract. So For Wilder right now is he either sues a guy for his next purse, which that's what I would do. In this thing, if you don't fight me, I want your next purse. So I wouldn't even put it as next purse. Whatever you get from that fight is what I want.
Yeah.
Because they might try to finagle it a different way. All the proceeds, all whatever you get from that fight, I want it. And that's what it's going to take for this guy to fight Wilder. It's and lost one. You know, mm, I will tell you this. Um, the fights that I want to see is not always going to be the fights that you want to see. So you can say that you want to see. I'm assuming that you want to see AJ versus Fury. But what I want to see is I want to see Wilder versus Fury 3. And it ain't no hit at you or anything or anybody else. But this is what our dollars go to. Our dollars go to watching these fights, watching these fighters ups and downs by way of viewing it and stuff like that. So you know, just sit back and be boo.
Hold on, I gotta put Lowe's on the spot. I gotta put Lowe's on the spot before you make a comment, Lowe's. Who would you rather see? What fight would you rather see next? AJ versus Fury, or Wilder versus Fury next?
Wilder versus Fury, and the reason being because there's unfinished business. The first one was a draw. The second one, Fury won. It's only like playing football, you know. It's plain and simple. I mean,
I disagree. No, I disagree with the point, but I respectfully disagree.
The reason I want to listen, right? I tell you the truth, right? It's plain and simple for me. I want to see them all in the mix. That's what I want to see. But this modern day of boxing, we're not going to see that. 10, 15 years ago, we saw all these in the mix. The Holyfields, Riddick Bowes, Mike Tyson's, like I stressed to you earlier, we saw all this. But I'm not going back to the old days. I'm on about the modern days now. But I want to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Just to fucking put all this Govgate and all this cheating shit and all this bollocks to bed. I just want to see it to bed. But if I don't see it and I see AJ and Fury, then I'm not bothered about that. But I do want to see him fight the winner of them two. Because
no, and another thing too, Lowe's, real quick, and I'll let you keep cooking on it, is that I think that if AJ and Fury fought, that they'd probably find a way to fight 3 times in a row and kind of leave Wilder out of the predicament, like they've kind of done right now. So I mean, we kind of got screwed in a sense, regardless.
That's why I said the same thing, what I said before. He doesn't need to be going down that road fighting Povetkin or Dillian White, because he'll end up in that fucking turmoil with Joseph Parker, that he'll end up in that whirlwind and can't get himself back out of it. Joseph Parker has slipped into a maze and he can't work his way out of it. He's fighting regular fights. But whereas Josie Parker, right, since he lost to AJ, right, he came back to the UK and he had a pay-per-view fight with fucking Dillian White. Where has Joseph Parker moved up that ladder since he fought Dillian White? Come on, let's be serious. Where has he moved up that ladder? I'll tell you, nowhere. And he's fighting Derek Chisora, and that to me is slipping down the fucking ladder. And that's why I stressed that Deontay Wilder don't need to be fighting the winner of Povetkin or Dillian White, because as soon as he does that, you mark my words, he'll get caught up in that same cycle as Joseph Parker. Like you just said, El, They strike that fight, right? They'll end up having a fucking 2 or 3 fight deal, which will span out over 2 or 3 years. And by
If
then,
not more,
Wilder's
probably more.
exactly, and Wilder's 35 now. So say 3 years, he's going to be 38. So come on, man.
No, and the
I,
fuck, but
you
honestly,
know,
Lowe's, within this though, like the biggest fuck up in all this shit, and I said it before, and a lot of people were tripping when I said it, but PBC fucked up big time. Like with this Wilder like negotiation with Fury, or like Wilder's contract with Fury, because somehow or another, I don't know how the fuck it happened, and nothing's set in stone too. Like, the AJ ain't fighting Fury, and we don't got a date yet. But
yeah,
the fact that they're even finagling their way out of Fury not fighting Wilder next, and him and Fury slipping out of that contract, is PBC fucking up. Like, to me, I mean, that should have been all guns blazing. Like, we gotta like make everything like for this fight to happen next, and they can't finagle their way out of it. Or they should have written the contract to where like Fury had no chance and Bob Arum had no chance of slipping out of this fight. But now we're talking about AJ fighting Fury potentially next,
I
and
think,
Wilder
Well,
gets like kind of screwed on
I
that
think, I
predicament.
think,
well,
I think the
but
whole,
That's the thing. But that's the thing about it all. Nobody knew that this pandemic was going to come like the way it did and stuff like that. Now, yeah, you could say at the end of the day, if you in charge of something and stuff, that you bear the burden of the pros and the cons. But at the end of the day, um, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the PBC. I would say it's Top Rank and the PBC, if anything, because
Yeah,
at the
but
end of
Top
the
Rank's
day,
benefiting and people.
well, they benefiting. They was going to benefit off the fight, but now they also had somebody else come in. They could benefit off that as well. Nobody knew this was going to happen the way it was. Um, but what I would say is that at the end of the day is, when you have promoters and advisors and stuff like that, you know, I think people should start tightening up, because if there wasn't a pandemic around, um, I'm 95% sure that the fight would have happened, because there wouldn't be a network excuse, broadcasters excuse of um, prolonging the fight and stuff like that for money and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, what the fuck they got to do with it? You know what I'm saying? You either bring
Nah,
the
but
fight.
what, like, from our perspective and my perspective, I'm a Wilder fan. Like, I like Wilder more than the three fighters that we mentioned. But the guy that I like, and I'm being greedy in this or selfish, is getting screwed out of this predicament. Now we're talking about fucking Wilder waiting around for a Povetkin fight or Charles Martin. So Wilder is clearly the one that is not benefiting from that contract, and Fury's finagling his way fucking right out of that fight. And Fury has never really showed any motivation to fight Wilder after they fought the first time. I mean, yeah, he fought him the second time, but he fought two other guys before he fought Wilder a second time. Um, and now, when there was a contract set in stone, seemingly, regardless of whether it was due to the pandemic or crowds, or now AJ is seemingly, because it's not set in stone, gonna fight Fury. Like fucking and Wilder's getting screwed out of it, in my eyes. I mean, hopefully, this is all
that's
like
what I say,
bullshit, and like Wilder fights Fury next. But
that's why I say,
Let me
bro.
ask that comment.
That's why I say they've got. He's in a powerful enough position to fucking, even if he don't fight him this time round, and just even if he just lets them two fight, he's in a powerful enough position to make sure that he gets the winner of them. Don't go back. I mean, me personally, if I was a fighter, I'd take you to the end of the court, see what happens. That's what I want him to do. But at the same time, if you pay me happy step aside money, but I'm guaranteed in writing that I fight the winner of you two, then I will quite happily do that. I ain't gonna
yeah,
take
and
no
and and and,
I ain't
and
gonna
Lowe's,
take no retarded fucking seat back fighting fucking bums like fucking Povetkin and fucking Dillian White. Hell fucking no. Might as well
No,
go out and fight fucking Derek Chisora.
but I think like Wilder should have done a little bit on his end too, as far as
Yes, of course
putting
he
out
should have.
public pressure, like public pressure,
He
making
needs to
videos
come
all
out
the time.
more. Yeah, he
Yeah,
needs to come
definitely.
out more.
Well,
But that's what I'm saying now. Sorry, Mike, just quickly. These fucking. I'm not no boxing expert. I'm far from it. But I've got common sense, man. I've got common sense. Me, you, and Mike, and any fucking one with half a brain knows that at the end of the day, if you truly believe that you're worth what you're worth, then you're gonna fight. Well, you got me personally. If I knew I was worth $100 million, I'm gonna fucking fight you to the end for $100 million, no
Yeah,
matter what the outcome is.
Tyrone said something agreeing with what our last sentiment is. I just want to see Wilder Fury 3. That's it. And he also said if AJ Fury goes ahead, Wilder will never get the rematch. I agree with that. Lost One disagrees and saying yes, he will. And TS Boxing replied, they will freeze him out. I think they will make every play to try to freeze him out. But I don't know. Like, and again, I mean, like, Wilder shouldn't be put in this position by the people that rep him. Like, and the thing is too, like, sometimes I think people think that when I diss like PBC, that I'm fucking dissing like this
well,
like the
bro.
Vatican or some shit, bro. Fuck, like like this, like like these dudes. Yeah, bro. Like like that, like. It's not the only time that like the PBC like fucked up Wilder even. Like I thought like Wilder should have fought fucking Charles Martin before Charles Martin like fought AJ. Like I mean maybe would it
Charles Martin didn't
like
want it.
Pardon me?
Charles Martin didn't want it.
Listen.
That ain't my problem, bro. Fuck like
I had to get back.
Tell me people. One sec, just let me read this. Tell me people wouldn't want to see Wilder versus White. Massive. Oh man, Lost One. Come on, bro.
Lost One, you need to get off the gas, man. This is the problem with some people, dude. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Exactly.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. He will not give him a rematch in his life. Klitschko tried to get that thing. He will never get it. And he's still
who
today.
Tyrone?
Klitschko
Fury?
wanted that rematch. Klitschko wanted that rematch. He wanted to double back, but he'll never get it.
Yeah.
And he's still mad
and
about
he as well, didn't he?
This heavyweight division sucks fucking ass anyway. Why should Wilder be beating up on these bums to begin with?
Yeah.
No, but look at that. But Ty, if
you wouldn't go back, Ty, would you? You wouldn't go back.
He has to step
down. Fighting Charles Martin and Povetkin and Dillian White.
Why would you
step down?
Lost One. Why should he fight fights people won't give him credit for anyway? Get off
but if he squirms, but if he squirms out of if Fury squirms out of fighting Wilder and a Wilder, I mean a Fury AJ match goes ahead, like I see Lost One's argument in a sense. It's just that like
he's still thinking like boxing is fair and fighters will take their mandatories. No, they will not. What does a mandatory mean? What does a verbal contract mean? What does a signed contract mean to Fury? Not much. He just does whatever he wants to, basically.
Don't mean it. Doesn't mean much in boxing anyway, Ty.
No, it doesn't mean anything. So why do people are making arguments like it does? I don't want to get on it. I don't want to get on anybody, but we're living in a dream world. People don't even really care about Wilder. They just want to see bum heavyweight fights, dude. I'm really not off the heavyweight fights. I'm 185 pounds. I don't care about fat fucks. I don't. I think fat fucks are horrible. I think they're full of fat. They have nothing. They're lazy. I don't care if they punch each other. I don't care. I don't resonate with that. I don't care about fat fucks. I really don't.
So, Ty,
Wilder,
I'm with you
fight,
though, bro. If he goes, but if fight
he's
them bums, mate, he's going backwards. He's
It's a
fucking
backwards fight. People like
yeah,
leaders are telling him to fight fights that if he wins, they wouldn't give him credit for anyway. So
facts.
what's the point of getting the fight? Only for
Mhm.
their entertainment.
Yeah, exactly,
Doesn't mean anything.
exactly what I was saying before about Josie Parker. Fucking
Right.
Derek's his own shit. He's
Well,
bollocks.
well, it's
Tyrone's right, Mike. What he's saying,
um,
it's
No, but
bullshit.
I wholeheartedly disagree with Tyrone in one sense.
let me get up in here.
Nah,
Let
real
me-
quick though, like, cause like
all right, cool.
there's
No, Tyrone's right. What he's saying, why go backwards?
no, but he could also fight Timothy Moulton, like while
Tim
AJ
Moten.
and
Tim Moten couldn't even fight the stains on my carpet here because he was that shit of a Stanley Steamer guy anyway. So
Tyrone's revved up
the
now.
whole thing's just kind of ridiculous, man. When Wilder, if Wilder can't get that fear, I got off the heavyweight division after that BS Wilder Fury 2 fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen to me. I personally thought Fury edged the first fight. I won't lie, and I hate Tyson Fury, but I thought he edged it. It was between somebody missing and somebody making somebody miss and not doing a whole bunch of nothing himself. That's really what the first fight was. So I thought Fury just edged it a little bit. Although I also thought Wilder knocked him out. But that second fight was clear to say. People said, oh, he changed his game plan. That's bullshit, dude. I don't care about game plan or nothing like that. Nobody can tell me a fight that was so drastic, a rematch between two people was so drastic within a year and a half without there being something wrong with one of the parties. Did I think he cheated in the fight? Yes. Do I think it made a difference in the fight? No, I don't think it made a difference in the fight because Wilder looked fucked up to begin with. Now, he said something about his leg, which could have been an issue or something. But I think it's obvious to tell there was something seriously wrong with him. And I think maybe he should have pulled out. I think if he pulled out, it would have been a lot better. But of course, hindsight is 2020 now. He doesn't have. Okay, so who should he fight then? No one? Yes, lost one. Because he's a man. He do it like Gary Russell does. Gary Russell refuses to fight bums. If it's not the right fight, he won't fight. And I think that's better, man. I don't think why people should do.
I do, Tyrone. Totally agree.
yeah,
totally agree.
I think in
Totally
Wilder's
agree,
case,
Tyrone. I'd rather
yeah,
fight no one than fight a fucking
Then fight a
stiff.
bum.
yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
It's different
totally
than
agree,
Gary
bro.
Russell's case, like because Gary Russell doesn't move the meter like that. But Wilder is better
bro.
off fighting nobody than
Yeah, exactly.
fighting like
That's what I
that
was
bottom
saying.
rung.
Now.
Yeah.
Why slip down? Why slip down the run on the ladder and fight the likes of Povetkin and the winner of Dillian White when they're like 3 divisions behind you?
And why do that, especially
Yeah, exactly.
after that second fight, man? That second fight was just.
Dillian White got iced off a fucking old biffer.
You give
Off an old PED biffer with a walking stick.
You give me.
What's Wilder going to do to him?
You give me both those guys at 100%, Wilder and Fury. 10 out of 10 times, it will end up similar to the first fight. Nobody can tell me Wilder Fury 2 was an accurate representation of a fight between Wilder and Fury. It will always
not from
go
the
as
first
Wilder
fight,
Fury
no.
1. It will always be like Wilder Fury 1.
I don't know because Fury did one thing you gotta say though is Fury did look a tad better in the second fight.
The thing is though, Tyrone, Tyrone, listen very carefully, bro. This is what makes the third fight such an intriguing fight, is because the first fight, Wilder was an active fighter. Fury was a bum who got up off a fucking sofa and had a great fight with him. And then the second fight, both of them were very active. One took what did he fight? 2 fucking stiffs instead of going straight into a rematch when Wilder wanted to go straight into a rematch. He ended up fighting Tom Shorts and Otto. Oh boy, Otto put their hands on him. But he won. Whether he cheated or not, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, then the third fight, it's got to be signed, sealed, and delivered. There can't be because at the end of the day, this third fight, the whole of the fucking world is going to be watching. both of them fighters.
Yeah, they just need
And the referee, so there's going to be no cheating in this fight.
Then you'll see what
No cheating.
it's
Exactly,
really
Ty. And whoever wins should shake their hand and walk away and move on to fight another day.
Lost.
But again, my brothers, that's if we. I'm sorry, but like real quick, that's even if we get there, though. I mean, like it seems like Wilder got screwed on this fucking negotiation, like or a shitty ass contract, regardless of whether there was a pandemic or like you know.
I feel though. I will say that in Wilder's case, I feel like his team was slow. They should have attacked that. They should have pushed the issue like a
Word up.
Right, I'm getting up out of here, but I just want. I'm sorry to butt in. I'm getting up out of here. Love you all. I've just seen this.
If anything, that's like
if he fights White, he's Mando for Fury.
They're still moving slow. These guys are behind the time.
How can you fight Dillian White and become mandatory for a belt what you only just lost?
No, and if Lowe's is jumping off, I think Lost One should jump on and
Lost One, get your ass on here, bro.
Yeah, bring your ass, bro.
On, Lost One.
Are you breaking out? Are you breaking out?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thank you for coming on again too, bro. Like fucking hit me up tomorrow.
What time is it?
Lowe's. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, Mike. Peace.
And Lowe's, let the people know real quick what your channel name and where we can find you again, please.
Yeah, you can find me at Loz D Punch Out TV. I'm always open to debates to speak to. I mean, at the end of the day, what I love about boxing, we all disagree to agree, if you know what I mean, or agree to disagree, whatever which way you put it. At the end of the day, it's just a debate. But before I get up out of here, I highly recommend that Deontay Wilder does not fight anyone apart from Tyson Fury, or the winner, if he gets a healthy payday, takes step aside money and he does get a healthy payday and get it in writing that he's guaranteed the winner of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And that's what I think he should do. And that's what I would do as a fighter. If not, I'm taking you all the way to the court.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Martin and fucking Dillian White and Povetkin and all them people can kiss my black ass. I ain't fighting them bums. No. I'm streets ahead of you.
But Lost One thinks fight. Lost in that UFC.
Yo, peace, Lost. Thanks for coming through too.
Peace,
peace,
Mike.
All right, bro.
Peace, Mike. Have a good weekend, brother. And Ty.
I know.
And Lost One, if you want a link too, feel free to ask. I mean, all you gotta do is let me ask.
But this is what I'm saying is what who had fault, right? Don't nobody knows who had fault right now. Maybe might not even know ever who was really at fault with this, because that's the reason why Wilder has taken these steps to get this guy in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I tell a lot of people is just stay optimistic about what's next to come. You can pick sides if you want to. That's your business. But at the end of the day, you know, this is the reason why you have ways of filing grievances and stuff like that, to where people can figure out what's the right course of action. Now, whether or not the right course of action is in Deontay Wilder's favor and Tyson Fury doesn't fight him again, that's not Deontay Wilder's team fault. That's Tyson Fury's fault. If it's deemed Deontay Wilder doesn't have the means to get a third fight, then that's Deontay Wilder's fault. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the legal process.
Well, third fight next.
The legal process that they're going through and stuff like that, I think that's going to show who's really at fault.
No, don't get it twisted. I think that Fury is finagling his way, being slick, whatever have you. I think that he's trying every trick he could, like to try to fight AJ and or not fight Wilder. Like, I think that's totally Fury's fault, but it's benefiting Fury. Like I think it's Wilder's team's fault though that Fury was able to do this. But I think another thing I was just thinking about is a solution to all this that I thought of is Wilder should try to negotiate maybe less of a step aside and
Nope.
a definitive. Well, no, with a definitive clause stating like whoever fights or wins that fight fights me next. I don't know. What do you guys think?
No step aside money. No step aside money.
Or no, or if they
Let me put
like
it to
no,
you
I
like
read or like no, if there was a way that I only say that in the sense, Tyrone, like if there was a way that Fury finagled his way out of that contract somehow, but and in the hopes of not fighting a legal battle,
no, no,
that in
no.
that case, that's what I meant.
Let me tell you this, dude. Deontay turns 36 this year. Correct? If this fight goes ahead, he will never, never get the rematch. I'm telling you this. Dude. I have a friend, right? He just texted me. He finally got into grad school. This guy was down on his ass for 2 years. His first 2 years couldn't do nothing. Grad school, you need above a 3.0 really to get in. So he finagled away for a 5th year to do better. And now he just got in after a year's hard work. I know school. Anybody who knows school knows this, right? If you were to what? Leave and come back, how much harder is it to get into grad school? You're out of the game. So you have to. Yeah, I hit the table. You've got to get. No, it's shit or bust, dude. There's no plan B, man. It's one go. If you really want something, that's it. You lose, if you give up, you're done. You have nothing left. You got to go for it. There's no plan Bs in this life, man.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like
now, because it's over with.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Tyrone, and like and I'm being biased in the sense that Wilder is my favorite fighter. I'm just pissed off that he even is in this position, regardless of anything that's come up. Like, how is it that fucking Fury gets to slip out of this? Like that's what pisses me off. Because at the end of the day, if I pay a lawyer and like fucking I go to jail because like and the lawyer put on like his best effort, I'm still pissed off at my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
right now it has to be in the courtroom. He has to take this as far as he can take it. If he gives up and fights those other guys, then any other concession will happen after this. But I don't think he will. I think he'll fight it until the very end.
But another thing though too, Tyrone, is that like as far as it pertains to like
he don't care
from
about
Wilder. No, like I was saying, like as far as it pertains from what we're seeing from Wilder, like where this case is being fought out, or like the fact that he wants that fight, you're not hearing much from him. But I mean, there might be a reason for that in a legal sense. Like maybe he doesn't want to compromise in a legal sense. But I mean, like to me, that only matters if he wins this case. Like if Wilder fights Fury next. Like if he doesn't, I'm gonna be dumb mad. And seemingly, it seems like AJ and Fury are gonna fight next. So I mean, like that's what's pissing me off.
They're gonna keep pushing that. They're gonna keep pushing that.
Let me say this real quick, because Lawson said, if anything the second fight proved, Wilder needs to work on his game. Look,
another dumb fuck comment that everybody knows about this stuff, man. We already know Wilder has.
Let me speak.
Go ahead.
Right, Wilder and Anthony Joshua both came in looking the same way in these fights. Right, so and after you see everything in hindsight, you can go ahead and say all this stuff. All right. Because who knows if Anthony Joshua came in that fight suited and booted and ready to go, he probably would never lost against Andy Ruiz. If Deontay Wilder would have came in there suited and booted against Tyson Fury, probably would have never lost that fight. But at the end of the day, this is the reason why that question is kind of off that you wrote. Well, the statement that you wrote is kind of off, because every fighter has room for improvement. Not just Wilder, not just AJ, not just Tyson Fury, not just anybody. Everybody has room for improvement. And when you just keep that to Deontay Wilder all the time, that just shows that, Deontay. Look, how does Tyson Fury become fighter of the year for fighting Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder can't box and he's a shitty fighter? Doesn't make any sense. How come this guy is alpha beating Deontay Wilder and the old man Klitschko, a 41-year-old, right? A 41-year-old that he didn't give a rematch to, which he ended up losing his belts by way of cocaine and eating boar nuts. So, we all got to keep it simple, plain, and direct, straight to the point. At the end of the day, right, no matter how you put it, the legal route that Deontay Wilder is going to right now is going to show you whether or not Tyson Fury is ducking Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was wrong all ago. And if you can't sit there and allow this thing to play through, and you just going to sit up over there and say Deontay Wilder was wrong, blah blah blah, lost one, well then that's your business.
No, but hold on, Mike. But I think that there's no, in my mind, and I'm pretty sure yours and Tyrone's mind, there's no question that Fury is ducking out of the Wilder fight in my mind. But I mean, like, we don't like. I don't think we gotta wait out like to see if like how that plays out to see if
another retard comment.
What I want.
Literally got the chance to let Wilder get that one back. AJ.
No, but I want you guys to respond to that one though.
Would have hung themselves if they couldn't get that rematch. I swear to God, they would have literally hung themselves at the big house in front of Dillian White and everybody else.
What if he didn't get the rematch with Ruiz?
If they didn't get the rematch with Ruiz, they would have hung themselves.
Yeah, but like, hold on, Tyrone. Like a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people's expectation was, or like that there was a possibility that Ruiz and Wilder would have fought in the aftermath of Andy Ruiz beating AJ. But seemingly like Matchroom had their shit together. Like fucking in Wilder's case, it seems like his team has him like fucking up in the clouds right now. Like it sucks.
Well, that's because AJ wanted to fight. Hello,
Ruiz?
That's because AJ wanted to fight. Yeah, AJ wanted.
Yeah, but
he wanted his get back.
No, but I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Let me ask you the last one question though. This is what AJ did in the second fight. What AJ did, he showed the whole world in the second fight with Andy Ruiz that he's chinny. What AJ did in that second fight, he literally ran around the ring.
Just got up
and he made a decision against a out of shape, obese fighter. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't cut off the ring with him, couldn't do nothing with him. AJ literally showed the whole world that if you hit this guy, he's going down. See what I'm saying? And with the respect of so he said got right back in the fight and fought. Well, let's go back to that got right back in the fight and fought thing that you wrote right there. Where was you at around that time? Because a lot of AJ fighters were saying that was a brutal knockout. I think he needs a tune-up fight or this and the third, blah, blah, woo, woo, woo. A lot of people were saying that. I was the one saying that if you call yourself a champion,
you need to
and if you want to prove to the world that you were champion, you get your black ass back in that motherfucking ring and show the whole world. But the way he won against Andy Ruiz, you cannot say that he wasn't scared.
Nah, but I ain't even gonna trip though, man, because like at the end of the day, like in that like rematch, he dominated Andy Ruiz. I know he ran, but Ruiz couldn't hit him, and fucking he did just enough to win without getting hit. Fucking, he probably won every round. Like,
what he should have did was knock his ass out. The dude was out of shape.
Ideally, I mean, like that would have been fantastic.
He was He was damn near like he was almost like Bermain Stiverne.
My big
And in those exchanges too, like when they did have like exchanges, in the second fight, Reeves was still catching him.
Then you gonna say the worst thing you could do was be stagnant as a fighter. Look,
I'm gonna let me say something because Mike got me off this, dude. I used to think like that too. Like they got to fight all this times a year, and we got this is just for our entertainment. Like they're zoo animals. I don't care anymore. I think if they don't want to, only thing I care about is if they fight the best people. That's the only thing I care about. Mike got me off that, man. I used to think they need to fight 5, 6, 7, 8 times a year. Nah, I'd rather have them fight the best people than to fight bums every 2 weeks. That's what's important.
We're getting neither.
Yeah, too. Yeah, he did that guy, put him on his back 4 times. My big thing is let Wilder at least get that one back, man. AJ got to get in there immediately. How come Wilder doesn't? When AJ lost, a lot of people say he needs to get that one back. When Wilder loses, oh no, he needs to step aside for unification. Since when did you care about unification between, a Marshmallow and AJ? Only thing I like about Fury is that he's funny. But other than that, he's a cheater. He is a fag, which is funny too, actually. I thought the kiss and stuff was pretty entertaining. But
I want to taste it.
Yeah, but
I agree with all your sentiments too, and I mean, making a revolution back around to it. I mean, like the same shit is sort of applicable, like with the Ugas Spence fight. In that, I mean, yeah, it's an acquiring another belt, but
people always talk about being active.
Gives a shit.
You can be active in your house. Why do you have to be active underneath the lights? I'd rather you fight 4 great fights than to fight 16 bum fights. That's just it's meaningless. It's meaningless. Fight the best fights. That's what important. Wilder White is a decaf hater fight. Those are for the decafs and the haters who just want to see Wilder fight. No, I'm looking at this as a borderline Wilder fan. He should have got that fight back immediately because that's not fair. Everybody knew that second fight was bullshit. It really was. I don't want to hear any about this stuff. Fury dominated. He didn't dominate nothing. Throwing less punches and landing less punches percentage-wise than he did in the first fight. Overall.
Yeah, boys, I'm gonna wrap this one up, man. We just eclipsed the 2-hour mark. I had a good time too, bro. Always have a good time with you guys.
Does AJ have a chin? That's what you need to ask yourself. That's why he's scared.
Out for the ring.
You don't have a chin.
You're being brainwashed. You're being brainwashed by some of these older guys who are telling you that you have to be out underneath the lights. There is training camp. There is sparring. Those are things you can do to get decent. There are tons of fighters who come back have no rust on them who actually look better. Tons of fighters.
Yeah, and next time too, Lost One. Like I said earlier, you're welcome to jump on and defend your points.
Don't get smoked. He won't jump on. I know this guy. I know this guy.
No, I've seen Lost One before too. I know beef though. I mean, like I don't mind agreeing to disagree or disagreeing outright. Thank you for being on here. Like, anyway,
I really don't even fuck with the people who say Wilder White or Wilder stuff like. I think it's just non-negotiable, man. It's just non-negotiable.
No, but that and I agree with you, Tyrone, and that's what contracts are in place for. But if your contract deviated from you being from that, then you gotta really be fucking bitching about the people that drew up these contracts for you. PBC.
And it's not even about money at this point. Have you guys seen Wilder's house and some of the stuff he has, dude? He don't care about money, man. Well, some of these guys, like if I was in his position, I wouldn't care about money. For me, it's moral. It's moral. I just want to get that one back. He wanted to get the first one back, but he ran over to Top Rank, Fury. So he's good at this.
Nah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, bro. But
opinions lost run. I'm petty. So some guys, I think some opinions I have that I don't think there's a lot of opinions I have that I think there's no disagreement here. If you disagree, something's wrong with you. That's my problem. So like a lot of your opinions, Lost One, or the ones you've given today, I think just are not it. You've got. I feel we've got to wake you up, wake you back up, wake up, Lost One, wake up, and come back.
No, but also too, I mean, like going back around to that though, and I said this earlier.
Yeah.
Like as far as the fight that I would rather see, personally, I'd rather see AJ Fury fight like fucking next. I mean, but like justice wise, and like and my bias, I mean, like I would totally like want like Wilder and Fury to shake it up because they had that fight set in stone and a rematch. Like
it's beyond boxing. I don't really care about undisputed in the heavyweight division, dude. I said it a long time ago. These guys aren't that good anyway. So why should we care? We should care about the moral stuff at this point.
No, I do. No, yo, I would always make an moral argument in any case, bro. Like snitching or
dumb. Like in Dongo Crawford, dude. It's not about undisputed. It's about
no. Like I'm not saying I'm not saying
you're not. I know you're not, but I know some people who take that argument and it's just annoying.
But there is a historic aspect to the undisputed, though. Like, make no mistake. Like, I mean, like, especially and in this case with the heavyweights, and with giving a real injection back to boxing. Like, I mean, like, I do think that like the aftermath of the AJ Fury fight would be a little bit more relevant. In this case, like, and again, I'm a Wilder fan, like all the way through. Like, I think Wilder's the shit. Like, I'm not a fan of any boxer right now, with the exception of Wilder. And Teofimo Lopez grew up like 8 blocks from my block. But it is what it is with me. But yo, let the people know where we can find you, Mike and Tyrone. Whoever wants to go first, please.
You can start with Mike.
They can find me on the block of Hennessy and Guinness. That's where they can find me.
Mm-hmm.
And both is the 5th.
Yeah, I was drinking this Buchanan today, bro. It should taste like curry or some shit today.
That shit looking
up. No, Buchanan's on point, bro. Buchanan's better than Johnny Walker.
That's a ain't nothing but no proper 12.
Nah, bro. Proper 12 doesn't taste that bad, but Buchanan is good shit, bro. It's like 40 cents too. But yeah, let the people know where we can find you, Tyrone. And I hope you guys keep making riveting content too, man. Like if you're not doing it yet, don't worry, bro. Tomorrow's a new day, Ty. Just start pumping it out, man. You're a smart dude. Respect your brain, like fucking, and respect the fact that you're a young.
Showing off your muscles, Mike. You're showing off your muscles.
I ain't showing that shit to show. I got a bird chest.
You look a bit thin, man. How much weight have you lost?
I weigh like 195.
Oh damn, you look thinner than that.
Yeah, but let the people know where we can find you, Ty. If you didn't already.
TS Boxing. So everybody come hate on TS Boxing, his YouTube channel. A lot of controversial topics, of course. I'm straight to point with whatever I think most of the time. There are times I'm back and forth with decent material. Just come on there. All the haters who support Mark Breland or Fury, whatever, come on there. We'll stomp you up good and send you on your way. TS Boxing on YouTube.
And Mike, let us know what we like. Let us know your official channel, bro. Stop. Nah. Let us know your channel, bro. Actually, I'll say it. Michael Johnson, Boxing Talking More. Mike makes good content too.
Very good.
Much respected throughout.
With court documents.
Yeah, much respected throughout the boxing community too. Like on the low. Your favorite channel. That's my man, Michael Johnson.
There you go. There.
I got one right here. I contacted the FBI for some. Y'all see that name?
Mm-hmm.
That's the collection. That's the collection agency, bro.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the FBI.
Nice.
Try to get that. They told me to suck it. We ain't telling you shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I like to thank you guys for coming through, man. Lowe's Dawkins, Michael Johnson, Tyrone, fucking everybody who came through in the chat. Like, thanks for coming through. I mean, this is probably the most activity I had in any chat that I've done thus far. So thanks for everybody for coming through.
All right.
Rest in peace to my man E. Like died last week. Fucking Batman Forever.
Sorry.
Fucking
Yeah.
nah, definitely, man. But with that, I'm out. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, bro. Don't drive.
Yep. Peace out.
If you
Peace,
can.
bro.